Moving into the 3:30 window, it's 3:30 Eastern time on CBS. It's Oregon at Iowa. Ducks 7-1, 4-1, heading to Kinnick Stadium. A possible playoff elimination game potentially, at least for one side for sure. With Iowa, a surprising 6-2. They're 4-1 in the Big Ten. This is a massive opportunity to kind of validate their adjustments that they've made offensively the last couple of years, but also, at the same time, the traditional values of Iowa football can still win. Massive opportunity, and with the 4-1 conference record, this game carries direct implications to the Big Ten championship race, even though Indiana and Ohio State appear to have a full hold on where that Big Ten championship is going. Either way, really looking forward to this game. I always love when you have clashes in style and philosophy that are going head-to-head against it. With Dan Lanning and Kirk Ferentz, both guys have had bye week to kind of study what's coming up in this week. Very philosophical differences throughout this game. Oregon, very much a new blood, explosive offense, elite 4- and 5-star recruits, national recruiting base, 95% blue chip ratio across the board versus Iowa, whose old guard, foundational Big Ten, built on developmental toughness, suffocating defense, and an institutional knowledge from their head coach, Kirk Ferentz, that is second to none. So can't wait to see how this thing all works out. If you look at really offense versus defense, you have strength on strength against weakness on strength. Like, there's a lot to like about this matchup. Absolutely love it. Question 1, can the Oregon run game continue to roll? Now, on paper, this should be the most intriguing matchup of the entire game because Oregon is one of the best teams in the country when it comes to running the football, 250 plus per game. On the other side, Iowa, they allow just over 86 rushing yards a game. That's top 20. And that's top 20 at home, They're 10th in rush defense overall at just under 84 yards a game. So they've only given up 15 10-yard runs this year. They don't give up big plays on the ground. You might get some, but it's going to be on volume. It's not going to be because of quick hitters. 10-yard runs, just 15 given up. That's top 2. They've given up just one 20-plus yard run this season. That's the fewest given up in college football. Now, if you look at Oregon's elite numbers, they are a little bit inflated with some blowouts that they've had, for example, the 750-yard game against Rutgers. So the true nature of Oregon's offense against top-tier competition, against the 3 best defenses they've played in Penn State, Indiana, and Wisconsin, they were held to 17, 20, and 20 points in regulation, respectively. The Indiana game kind of provided a bit of a blueprint. The Hoosiers held Oregon to just 2.7 yards a carry. So we think Oregon's offense is really good against everybody, but that hasn't really been the case. When they're confronted with a defense that can win at the line of scrimmage, can their run game potentially be neutralized? I don't know that for sure, but I do know this. This Iowa defense up front, very, very good. This Iowa defense on the edges, very good. So the success of the Oregon backs and Davis and Whittington, all these others, winning early downs against front 7 will be very important of how this game may go. Question 2, how will Dante Moore fare against this secondary? Now, Oregon's offense really centers around Dante Moore. He's been exceptionally good this year, 71%, 1,700 yards, 19-4 touchdown interception ratio. And there was, I guess, some immediate concern after he leaves the Wisconsin game with a bloody nose. That's fine, right? He's good to go there, fully expected to be 100%. And he's going to be attacking a defense that loves to emphasize soundness across the board. They don't give freebies, but they do have some base zone coverages that can be a little bit complex. It can be a little challenging from time to time for a young quarterback. They can confuse guys, and they're designed to make you be patient. They want to keep plays in front of them. You look at the wide receivers, Gary Bryant. I think it's a big game for Gary Bryant, by the way. I think he can be very, very important in this one. DeCorey Moore, of course, is amazing. This is a top 5 pass defense statistically, though, giving up just over 150 a game. They're a top 7 defense in terms of passing efficiency. And they have some elite players there that will move around and create some issues for Dante Moore. They'll read his eyes. They'll break on the ball. And they could, in some cases, get hands on the football as well. So it's going to require a very patient and mature performance from Dante Moore. Question 3, can Iowa's 132nd ranked passing attack test Oregon's first ranked pass defense? This might be the most significant statistical matchup that we'll see in any Power 4 conference game this year. Iowa's passing game right now is 132nd in the country in terms of yards per game. They're 122nd in terms of efficiency, and they're going against an Oregon pass defense that gives up under 125 a game through the air. They also allowed just under 49% completion. So the disparity is compounded by some of the challenges with the personnel. And if you look at Mark Gronowski, there have been some limitations from an accuracy standpoint. Some have said it's because of an injury, a lingering lower body issue that's led to him maybe not being on target as much as he would probably like. Well, this allows the Oregon defense to kind of play and disregard some of the deep balls and then get super aggressive and say, hey, you want to throw it over our heads? We dare you. We're not sure that you can effectively hit those throws downfield. So if now you're not as worried about the deep passing attack, that will now allow you to commit a 7th, 8th, 9th guy to the box to stop the run. And Oregon's defense, they can confidently probably sit out there and say, yeah, we can play man coverage right now. We don't need to worry about safety help. Iowa's personnel so far has not shown a consistent ability to exploit it. Question number 4, can Iowa's rushing attack still be effective with the Ducks selling out against the run? Now, we just documented the passing game and how it's somewhat non-functional, but the rushing attack's very competent. They're top 40. They can rush for 185 a game. You got Gronowski's legs. You got Moulton. You got some really solid guys with the ball in their hands. Now, you look at some of the vulnerabilities from Oregon's defense. Overall, their rush defense is very solid. When you dive in just a little bit more, there are some inconsistencies at the second level, and it's not necessarily a weakness. If you look at Indiana, for example, they attacked Oregon's linebackers with space, with misdirection, with running backs, with tight ends. Even Wisconsin, they had some inexperience offensively, but they were able to create a little bit of production against this unit, and I think Iowa's far more capable than Wisconsin is at this point. So you know what Iowa's going to do. They're going to utilize these zone blocking schemes. They're going to utilize some play action. They're going to try to create some mismatches. They're going to isolate their running backs and tight ends on the linebackers, and they don't want to score quickly. They want to grind it out. They want to grind out those 4-yard gains, those 3rd and shorts. They want to dominate the time of possession battle. So Iowa's key to success is not necessarily scoring 50. It's holding the ball for 35 plus minutes in the game. Question number 5, can Oregon get off to a slightly better start? This might be one of the biggest issues so far for Oregon up to this point. They have to start faster. And Coach Lanning said during the bye week, hey, we got to find a way to open games better. He wants to work on a lot of things, by the way. He listed off short yardage, the red zone, but really opening games better. Oregon has not scored an opening drive since September 20th. In the 4 games since, their opening possessions has ended in punt, fumble, and 2 turnovers on downs. Against Wisconsin, their first 4 drives of the game produced 3 punts and a turnover on downs. So this kind of plays directly into the complementary football philosophy that Iowa wants to utilize. Their entire model is predicated on elite defense, creating some early momentum, igniting the crowd at Kinnick Stadium, and that could provide a little more pressure on Oregon's offense and their offensive coordinator, Will Stein, who needs to script a really successful opening drive after a couple weeks of preparation, because this will be a very difficult test if you don't get off to a better start than you've gotten off to this point of the season. Question 6, can Iowa get a non-offensive touchdown? Now, the Hawkeyes' most probable path to an upset is stealing a touchdown, whether that's their number 1 ranked punt return unit, whether that's a defensive score. We saw it against Minnesota, for example. For Oregon, ball security and flawless special teams coverage might be the most important keys to the game, because Iowa's most explosive offense might in fact be that punt return team. They're number 1 in punt return yardage, averaging over 25 yards per punt return. Through 8 games, they have 17 returns for 437 yards. And they beat down to Minnesota. You get a touchdown on the punt return, you get a pick 6. This is complementary football. And a stolen touchdown from special teams or defense could be huge. So Oregon's offense, if they do need to punt against this defense, kick it to the sideline. Do whatever you got to do to not give Iowa a chance to steal some points. The 20-point threshold in this game, that's the magic number. I think that's the magic number. If Oregon's offense, which has not necessarily played at a super high level against top-tier competition, if they can get beyond 20 points, say 24 points, 27 points, they're going to be in a really good shape. Because Iowa's offense, on the other hand, how confident are you in them getting to 28, them getting to 25, them getting to 30? I'm not. I think Oregon can score. I think they can get past 20. And if they can break that threshold, they should feel pretty good. Part of me wants to take Iowa here. I really do. I like Iowa a lot. I just can't. I don't think Iowa's going to be able to manufacture enough points to pull the outright upset. I do think they can make it interesting for a while before Oregon secures what should be a very close and hard-fought win on the road.